Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Doing a little something different. I'm a little bit nervous. You know me, I'm always changing things around here. Always something new. So I'm going to try a different camera thing tonight and hope that it goes well. Just cross your fingers and let's see how far. Hopefully it lasts throughout the show. Welcome to the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad channel. I'm Rick Bailey. And we're going to be hanging out here tonight for a little bit. I can see everybody's jumping in. Everybody's in chat saying hello, which is absolutely awesome. We're going to do an update on the build for the Foscale Models Cookson Soap Company. If you guys saw, I put out a video. I think it came out on Monday. Yeah, I think it was Monday or maybe it was Tuesday. And I showed you the progress. We're just going to go over that real quick so I can show you some of the flaws that I found after the fact. You know, I like to share not only the information of what I'm modeling, but also, you know, how I do things and the techniques that I do things. Not saying they're right or wrong. It's just what works for me. But I also like to show the flaws that I make so that you guys know what I did wrong and hopefully you don't mess yours up in the same way later. There are some tips and tricks in this one, so stay tuned and we'll get to that. We'll jump into the participants list and I'll show you all the new well, it's not a new gadget, but it's something new that we're going to try for tonight's show. So before we get to that, let's go over our usual. Let's get the lady of the hour up here. Here comes Rita. All right, all right. Rita's always the highlight of the show. So let's jump over to the STS schedule and we'll see what's coming up for the month. And this way you guys know to stay tuned. So we are in the month of May 2026. We've already had John. John was up a couple weeks ago. He did the May 3rd show, followed by Dave on the 10th. Then this upcoming Sunday, we're gonna have Bob. Bob's gonna be on his channel live, and then Ray's gonna follow up on the 24th with his show, and then right in between there, I'll be back on my Friday night show as always. That's gonna be on the 29th. And then it's going to be a doubleheader that weekend. You're going to have me on the 31st as well. So we're going to be able to hang out together twice that weekend. And hopefully, I don't know, we might be on to a new kit by then. If I catch a snag between now and then, I don't know, we might be finishing this one. We'll have to wait and see. But tune in. Stay with me. All right, let's jump over to the participants list here. So the list is empty. Where are you guys at? I don't know. All right, so the participants list in YouTube always seems to populate late. Just remember that if you haven't seen your name on this list, it's either because you haven't said hello in the chat at all or just haven't said anything recently. So say something, say hello to everybody, let everybody know you're at least here. If you're going to lurk in the background, that's great, but let everybody know that you're at least here so that everybody can see you and say hello. And more importantly, I can see you and say hello. So let's just run through this real quick list. Friday nights are always a short list, but we've got Chessie Systems and Clipper Fan here. Deep Run Mike is in the house. Dan from Dan's Model Railroad Journey is here. Of course, I'm here. That's that FBMRR guy. FVRC Scott is in the house. Dwight from the Curly Express is here. Lynn McCurdy is also here. Greg is stopping in. He's over at the Midsummer Railway N Scale channel. That's down in Aussie. So very, very cool to have you here. Bob from PK&W Model Works is here. Hello, Bob. Rusty's in the house from Possum Bayou. Ron Moen is here. Russ rockin' trains and stuff. Awesome. That's a mouthful. That's like probably the longest name that I've seen. And of course, J2 is in the house. That's John from over at Schuykill River Valley. Thank you for stopping in. You guys see those guys over there in the chat that are in that bluish color there, and they've got that little shield next to them? Those guys are my moderators. They are here to keep me on track, which always never happens, but more importantly, to keep you guys in check. So I want to say a big thank you over to my moderators for being here and helping out in chat. You guys are amazing as always. Here's what I want to show you. You know me, I'm always changing things up over here with my rig and how I've got the whole setup. I have not been happy with the camera that I'm using for my overhead shots. Here, I'll flip back over to the main cam here and I'll show you. So above here, get rid of logo, go take a nap. So above here is just a ring camera with a standard Logitech 920, I think it's a 920 camera in the middle of it. It's a great webcam. It's awesome for, doing webcams. It's great for doing meetings and things. But it doesn't have a zoom on it, and it's not the clearest picture because the lens is it's not a true fisheye lens, but as the screen gets wider, the edges seem to blur out a lot. And even though I'm using OBS to do what I call a virtual zoom and kind of zoom in, the resolution really sucks. And I've been noticing it more and more as I've been doing my live streams, and it's really bothering me. So I wanted to try something new. So I'm going to switch over to that camera real quick so I can show you what I've done. And maybe this is something that you guys might want to try. So this is the overhead shot. And what you can see here is I've got my phone set up on a little armature that is attached to the back of my shelf here. And there's a program running on the phone called NDI. And NDI hooks into a plugin that is in OBS. Why am I looking over there if the camera is up there? So with the magic of OBS, I can have the camera feed into OBS and be another source for video. So I'm going to switch over to what I call the Droid Cam because it's an Android phone, and you're going to see the difference in the clarity between this shot here and the shot from below. And the difference is amazing. You can see the wrinkles in my hands. You can see the details on the building. This is going to be so much better as an option. And I think I'm going to wind up having to get a separate phone or at least another device that's going to be able to do this because I need my phone in case there's an emergency. I don't want to take the phone off the tripod in order to work on it. But take a message or something like that. So this is going to be, a much better pick. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I think so too. The only problem that I'm having is the lighting right now. I have to figure that out. There is a light, over that side that's kind of pointing on my face in this direction. There's a light on this way that's pointing on me. But I turned the ring light off because the ring light just seems to make a shadow of the phone, and then everything is kind of shadowed out. It's also leaving like a yellowish tint on there. So I just have the ring light off for now. There is a little bit of a shadow, but I'll see if I can figure this out. Maybe it's going to be either bringing I can't bring the light down any further because then it's going to be right in front of the monitor that's in front of me and right in front of the camera. So I'll figure something out. But for now, let's roll with this and see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So recap on the building. I just showed it to you a minute ago, but let's go over it. All of the windows and doors are in. Backfire Epsilon, welcome in, friend. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. All the windows and doors are in. There are 2 roofs that I put on. If you saw the video that I did last week, you'll notice the boo-boo that I made on here. I did this roof first, and then when I went to put this roof on, I had the tar paper going in this direction, and then realized that the slant is in that direction. Deep Run says, Harry Knuckles. Yes, sir. Harry Knuckles. I still have any. I haven't burnt them off over these years. I've got all of them. The other thing that I noticed is when I put this part of the building and glued it into this part of the building, it's got like one of those little the notches there where it fits in. It fit in this way with no issue, but there was a large gap at the bottom and on the side. So what I did is I just took a thin piece of this tar paper here, or it's actually just black construction faded black construction paper. And I just cut 2 small pieces just to cover up the corner there and in the front there. And when I was going over this earlier, just before the show, I realized that I'm going to need to put a small piece there and another piece there. And then as I was looking even closer to it before, now that I have all of this great resolution, I mean, look at that. Look at the paint on there and look at all those lines. Oh, this is amazing. So when I turned it this way, I realized there is a really large gap right there on this side. I guess it must have separated when it was gluing, but instead of using tar paper, because that's roof material, what I'm going to do is just get a regular piece of small trim. I'll paint that white to match the other stuff. And then I'll just tack that up in the corner there to hide that, and no one will know the difference. So it'll kind of look something like that, and no one will know. You guys will know, and YouTube will know, because this video will hopefully be up forever. But yeah, just a look from the backside. This is how the building kind of came together. You've got the front piece there, that side piece that kind of hangs just right there. That is that small structure up top. And then what we're going to do tonight is create this roof up top here, and then this roof that goes in an L shape here, and try and work through that and get those put together. The other thing that we've got to do is we got to build a small little dock right here. Not sure if we're going to get to that tonight, but we could certainly try. And then I think the last thing to do is put the back cover on here. And then there's just some signage that has to go up. And then we got to build a crane that goes down from the roof to the door. And then I believe that's it for the major stuff. I tried to go through all of the instructions and the pages that they gave me and the pictures, and I believe that's all there is. So it's a real, it's a simple building, but a complex structure. And that's why I love it so much. It's so different. It's not square. There's a whole bunch of different angles to it, and it just pops. So even though it's not that busy of a building, it's got a unique shape to it. And being a background building, I think it's just going to draw attention just by itself. So I'm real happy with this build and getting it together. So Rick is Bigfoot. Why am I Bigfoot? I'll be trying to pay attention as much as I can. Well, I appreciate it. Watching the World of Outlaws race. Oh, nice. The plasticity of wooden kits, such forgiving material. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And you can glue. So with a plastic kit, you probably, there's ways to avoid all of that. DB Tech, welcome, buddy. Thank you for stopping in, Dave. There's ways to avoid that. With a plastic kit, you can glue one side together, wait till that glue sets, and then, bend and squeeze that building into place. Wood is not that forgiving. You're going to get some play in it, but not much. So yeah, you're definitely right. The plastic kits do give you some extra elasticity and strength out of it. So good stuff. So we're going to do something new, something that I haven't done before. I was getting ready to do these other 2 roofs when I was doing the other 2 roofs for the video, and I realized before I put the tar paper on that these are not meant to be tar paper roofs. It's the same cardboard material, that gets glued on. So for example, this will go up here, but there's something that goes on top of this that I've never worked with before. And it was really, really, I didn't even know what this stuff was in the box. And I had to figure it out because there was nothing that explained what it was. And from a distance, without my magnifying eyes on, I didn't know what it was. It took me to actually feel the texture to find out what it was. And I'm going to get real close on this. Another thing that I love about having this camera here, I can just simply tap the screen above and it's going to try to focus in on that small object. I had this before you guys got here. I think you can probably see it. It's not going to do it now. Thank you. Wait a minute. Let me go into here. Hold on. I got to go into the configurations. Then maybe it'll do it. No. All right. We'll do this the best I can. This is corrugated paper. So I'm sure you could see some of the ridges on it. And I was practicing on it. I did a little bit of this here. And what I was doing is I did try paints at first. The paints didn't work as well as I wanted them to. There you go. Now you could see it. So yeah, it's corrugated paper. You could feel the texture better than you can see it until you start painting it. But I tried painting it first. I put on some primer and then I started with some paints and I didn't like it. This is my first go at it right here. This is both a mixture of paints and what are these things? Drawing pastels, not oil pastels, but drawing pastels. So it's more like chalk, but with a lot more pigment than chalk. So I like this as far as it looks dirty, which is great. And I like that. You could see I tried to do, there's a little bit of orange in there. There was more orange on there, but handling it, moving it around, I wiped a lot of it off. So I think I'm going to have to wind up going back and sealing it again once I get it the way I want it to. It's not a bad thing, but I definitely need my glasses for it. I can tell you that. And it is something different, but I'm going to show you just really quickly. These are my pastel colors, and every color that you see here that's propped out of the box is every color that I have tried on here. So there's a mixture of all of these colors, and you can't see every one, but every one of them. Hey, Ray, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Every one of them are on there, and I think it just adds to the texture of creating this whole effect of doing it. So I did start with just a gray primer, and I built that up from there. And then I thought to myself, I want to try it without the primer, and that's when I moved to this. But this, although I do like the colors on there, I think it looks very good. It needs some more orange, so it's a little more rusty, but I don't like that it's yellow. So I think the primer is needed. And thankfully, the primer that I have, it settles in nice where it doesn't seal in over those ridges, which are great. You could still see all those ridges in the paper. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this side. And you could see here, I just cut these in 2 panels. I didn't measure them. I don't know exactly what, the length of what. I should have looked it up. I should have read it, but I didn't. I just made 2 panels and I put them on there. I'm going to trim that off to make it look a little bit more manageable because I do think that's oversized. But then this side here is what goes on this side of the panel or of the roof. So I'm going to have to make 2 more panels for here. And then I think maybe 2, possibly 3 more small ones for here. And I figured that's what we could work on tonight. So in between pulling colors and getting this colored up, I am going to need to put on my goggles, so make fun of me if you must. The old age is setting in, and I just can't see those tiny things anymore. Luckily, hey, I do have a light on the lamp, and that helps down here, but it also creates a shadow. So we'll see how it goes. But now I got the phone right here in my face, so I got to make sure that I don't hide it with the camera or hide the light. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm gonna airbrush or gonna go old school. I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna do the pastels and see how it works out. It seemed to work for here. My issue is I don't know that I can get those individual colors to show up in a with a spray pattern, and being that I would need so very little, I figured I would just do it with the pastels. Otherwise, I'll be changing paints out in the airbrush. Like, look, I literally used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors on here. Running that all 8 colors through the airbrush is just going to be insane. So I'm going to try it with these, and then if I can get it to a place where I'm happy with it, off camera after the show, maybe I'll try and seal it with some not varnish, but I've got some clear lacquer, or maybe even just a dull coat, and or a matte finish, and see if that will seal it in so it doesn't rub off. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. But what I want to do is, now they have the gray primer down, I want to start with a black, and I think what I've been trying to do, or what I tried to do with the other one, was just go in the opposite direction of the here, let me get you guys in closer so you can see. Sorry for the jiggly camera. Go out just a little bit. Yeah, that's the perfect zoom. So I'm just taking this on the side and just rubbing it over there and getting that to come off on the ridges. I don't want too much black, but it's going to settle in, and I'm going in both directions here so it gets on both sides of those ridges. And I'm pushing a little bit harder now, just to see if I can fill in between some of those ridges, make it look like, as time goes on and dirt settles on the roof, it's going to get into those ridges and settle in like that. I think that's perfect. That's exactly how it would look if there was soot on top of the roof, in between those things. From there, I'm gonna do, I can't remember the order that I did before. So I'm just gonna try. Here's a little bit of gray. Actually, I think I should probably do the gray last, but let's just see what this does. Yeah, the gray is just gonna hide all the black, so I'm not gonna do that much, just that. I'm gonna do an undertone of some, this is a dark brown. And now what I'm going to do is, instead of going over the entire surface, I'm now just going to start to spot check some places, put some more in some places than other places. Down the bottom, I think, is where most of the dirt would accumulate. I'm going to, assuming that this is the bottom of where the roof line is. That's what I'm going to focus on. Thank you, sir. Great close-up. So I'm going to put a little bit extra dirt down there. I wish that I had like I have a green color. I also have another set. I'm not sure if I have. I was going to do a green, but I don't think a green would. Wish I had a reference picture. I don't know if there would be a green on a tin roof in like a rusted tin roof, unless it was like foliage. But I could do that. Hey, Ray Boebel stopped in. Thank you, Ray. It's good to see you, my friend. I would do that more in like a more like terrain, like a leaf material or some flocking or something. So I'm not going to go green, but just know that it was a thought. I'm going to do a light, I don't know what this is, a light orange. And again, just hitting some spots, not all. What I'm afraid of now at this point is rubbing off what I already put on. So I'm trying to be as careful as I can, because I don't want these all to blend, and you can see it's already coming off on there. So let me move over and do this this dark orange. This is where I'm going to get the rust spots from. And this is what's missing out of the other off of the other one. So if I pull this one back in just real quick, I'm just going to put a little bit more orange on here, because I think that's what this needs. And that looks more like a rusted roof. That's what I'm looking for. So that's what we have to get to. We're getting there. A wash would settle in the grooves for you. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. And believe it or not, this is almost like an illusion, because really the dots and everything, what you're seeing is really on top of the ridges, because that's the way the chalks are going, the pastels are going. But if you were to look at this from afar, or even from this zoomed in shot, you can't really tell without looking at that. You can't really tell that those are ridges and not valleys. And I think that's probably the coolest part of the entire project. All right, I want to try. I do have this. I've got this lighter orange, but I don't know if we really need that. If that's, I don't think that's going to help at all. And I even had at one point, I took a brush, and the spots that I knew that were really, really heavy, I was trying to even them out, but the chalk seems to be sitting like right there. And as much as I tried to just gently move it around, it looks like it's just blurring everything together. So I just wanted to show you that. I don't want it to look just like a mess of colors. A moist finger will blend it a bit. Well, luckily for us, I do have water right here. I can try. Now, should I, all right, Ray, guide me through here, because this is going to sound more naughty than anything else. And you know how I am. What's to stop it from completely coming off or wiping? So right now, nothing, but once I get it to where I want it to be, I'm going to seal it using a matte finish. I was trying to get to it, but it's the arm of that the camera's mounted to is blocking it right now. But I do have a clear matte finish, and I think that's what I want to spray it with. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't put this one on the building first, because I want to glue this to that and then do the whole thing at once and then glue it on. So right now, nothing. Going back to Ray for a minute, because you seem to know what you're talking about here, or at least you gave the suggestion, so I need more info. Do I just wet my finger and kind of just dab on here? I don't want to wipe because that's just going to take everything off. Before I do anything, chime in and let me know. Moist, not wet. Okay, so here's a dry finger. I'm going to wet it a little bit. I'm going to dab it on a paper towel. So it's a little, I guess, a little moist, I guess. And should I just dab around? Good technique suggestion, Rail Artist. Where's Rail Artist? Rail Artist. Rail Artist said hello. Unless I'm missing something. Did YouTube skip something in chat? Ask Rita, she'll guide you. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Rub it, Rick. Not the first time that I've heard that, Ray. All right, we're going to try it. Right? I'm not sure if this is working, Ray. I'm trying not to rub the whole thing, so I'm kind of like just patting it down, and I believe what's happening is it's just coming off on my finger. All that hard work, Ray. It looks a bit better. It does. I feel that it might be a little wet, a little damp, and that's why it kind of looks a little darker, but I'm just going to go over it with that orange again. And I'm going to try this once more. Lightly, he said. I never said. Just hello. All right, so might be a little too wet, according to Ray. Just moist. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, this is the other side. This is what I did. I think I kind of accomplished it. I want to try, here's a color that I didn't try. I'm not sure what this is going to do, but I thought maybe a little bit of white. No, it's not even coming off the way I wanted to. No, we're going to scratch that. We don't need that. I think that's pretty much where I want to be. A little bit more orange there. This is the orange I want. I don't know. I think I would have left it. Yeah, I think I probably did a little too much. You know what they say, if it looks good, you should probably leave it alone. You could use a soft brush. Well, I just tried the soft brush and it moved it around. Copy your post, Rail Artist, Mike, and post it again. That was it, Rick. Okay. All right. Well, I'm giving up right there. That's what we're gonna go with. Let me move this down in the camera and away from me so that you guys can see. They look a little different, but they're gonna be on. You can't overcome the two pieces. Having a different base color. They've got the, yeah, what I should have did is just did it all at once. And then, just cut the pieces of the panel, but I did this part and I glued it on there to see what it would look like, not realizing that it's going to be different because I'm not going to be able to replicate it the same way. But I'm also thinking of it. It's two different sides of the roof. I don't know. Maybe nature blows wind in one direction and not the other. There could be a couple dozen reasons why, one side would look different than the other side. So I'm just going to go with that and call that a day. I am going to size this up for, let me turn this around. I'm going to size this up. Find my hobby knife. Try not to touch. I'm going to need my glasses again. Almost took a fingertip with that one. Ah. I could just cut what I don't need off later. There. So that's that. And that's that. And now I'm just going to get this. The problem is you're using the pastel as a whole. And Rail Artist said you should scrape the dust off the stick and brush it on. Oh, interesting. What about a small piece of top that simulates a metal patch repair? I can do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is there's a little extra that I haven't cut off yet from here, which I can certainly use as a patch underneath. I don't know why that little thing is like that. That has to get cut off. But yeah, I could certainly use these two pieces as a patch once I cut them off, because these are entirely too long. They are not, they're not in scale, whatever scale may be. But this one's going to be over as well, so I'll have some patch material there too. Where is my trusty glue that I've had here for the longest time? It is somewhere. Brush it on like makeup. You can do that, Rick. Oh man, I might have to get Rita over here to show me how. Brushing would get pastel in the grooves as well. Oh, good point. Good point. Well, we have more. We got more that we could try. We got a whole nother roof here that we got to get covered. So we got plenty of things that we can try. All right. Now I got to remember which way I orientated this. I also, when I glued this first top part on, I made sure there was a little bit of an overhang there, because I wasn't sure exactly what they do in case of an overhang. Like, what do they do when they put these roofs together as far as like overhanging so there's no water that gets through? I should have probably put a little bit more, but I figured one hangs over the other. I don't know. Now there's not so much of an overhang. Got to get used to this new camera. Oh, I forgot to split that. Crap. And now I got all glue on it. Ray, that's your fault. I'm blaming you. All right. That's what I did get my my ruler out for, was to try and split this in half. I don't know if this is half, but that's what I'm going with. If it looks silly, I don't care. Now I got to get it up off my board. See, this is why I always show my mistakes. Oh, look at that. I got it close. That one's close. I gotta get this up now. Metal roofs. Yes, metal roofs to get a green look when algae or moss starts to grow on them. Because, okay, all right. Father's pole barn. I apparently didn't cut that straight, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right. I do have a little bit that I could trim off of that once this dries. I'm just going to put that down on its side with some glue over top of it and get it to stick. All right, now we have this. So this, I'm going to do in the same way. We're going to do it like that and get it all covered. But I think I'm going to start on this side rather than the other side. And this time I'm going to do it all in one shot so that it looks really uniform. And in order to do that, I need to know this times 2. So this that, and I'm just going to follow that line right down there. Maybe I'll do a little extra. I'll paint over for the overhang. I am shaking up my my primer. Need one of my dishes here. And all my dishes, something in them. Except for you. Ugh. That's what she said. Hey, Werx train. Don't need a lot of this primer. It goes very, very long distances. Just a couple drops. This stuff is great. I love this stuff. I believe I got this on Amazon. It came in a 3-pack. You get a gray color. That's what I'm using. Gray color. You get a white and you get a black. The only problem with it is the manufacturer says, don't order it if you're in a cold climate, or if the bottle is going to transport through a cold environment, because once the solution gets cold, it will congeal and you can't reconstitute it. That's coming directly from the manufacturer. But I've used this stuff with both a brush and with an airbrush, and I have never had any issue with it. As a matter of fact, it's probably like some of my best stuff. I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit. Whoa. It dries very fast. It covers very well. It self settles, which is great because when you spray this on a model, there's no There's no clumping. There's no beading. There's no, like it flattens all on its own, which is perfect. And because it dries so fast, excuse me, you're able to put multiple coats on in a short amount of time. I also don't experience a lot of warping with this. That was the other thing. The regular acrylic paints on a wood kit, you've seen my kits in the past. They will warp the moment that acrylic paint gets on there. You don't see it a lot, if any at all, with this stuff. So if you're looking to get it, and I highly recommend it, I would definitely pick it up if you need some. And the black is such a matte black that it beats out any acrylic black paint. It doesn't have that. So you know how when you paint your first coat of paint on, and it sits and it dries, then you paint your second coat of paint on, you can see them like a mask of maybe if you missed the spot, or you could definitely tell that there is a second layer of paint there. These don't do that. And that's what makes like painting the inside of a building, even though you're not going to see that inside of the building, but painting that matte black and not having those marks on there. When you put a light on the inside, it like no seepage whatsoever. And it's nice and thin layers and just works perfectly. I am not endorsed by this this paint. Know that. Just using it. All right. I'm going to see if I can get this to air dry real quick. I use Vallejo back primer in my airbrush. Yeah, Vallejos are great. They're great paints. What I liked about these paints is they came in a really big bottle. This is going to last me a lifetime. It doesn't even say on here how many ounces this is. The other thing that I like there, you notice right there in the corner, made in USA. Oh, it's made by Badger. Right there in Illinois, USA. Badger Airbrush. That's who makes these guys. And it's a water-based acrylic polyurethane. But it doesn't say what size bottle it is. I'm shaking that instead of doing this. Dwayne, good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. That's dry. Completely dry. What you see there is the chalk from earlier. That's completely dry. Love it. Love it. Okay. So now what is it we're going to try? We're going to scrape the chalks and then brush them on. Is that what I was told? All right. So trying to see how I could do this. It would be great if I had another thingy thing. I need something to put this on. That's good primer. Just never tried it before. Yep. All right. I'm just gonna use the lid. I can always wash this, I guess. This is the lid that sits over top of the pastel paints. So you said scrape this off into here. And then use a brush. All right, so we're scraping. Not sure how much. How much should I scrape? That enough? More? Less? No drum roll for James. Scrape with a number 11 blade into a little piles on a piece of white paper. Okay, I don't have the white paper. I can use the back of the instructions. Here. Okay. All right, there's that color. I want that color. Let's do the black. I think this, yeah, this is black. Okay, there's black. What I need to use. Well, what is it that I need to use? You tell me what I need to use. Okay, this is the brown. What else did we use? There was this color. You can also mix them. Oh. My only fear is that it's going to blend or coat. Did I use this one? Here's another one. This is that other brown. I'm afraid it's going to look like it's like coating the thing rather than all right, we'll start with that. We got 5 colors. All right. Here. Now, this is, did I just get some on my nose? All right. Here is my brush. It's not wet. We're not going wet, right? What is the base color besides the primer? I don't know. Whatever this color of the paper is. I couldn't tell you. Yellow. Manila. We're going to go with that. All right, so I'm going to go with the black first, which kind of looks more grayish now. So I'm just going to put some on the brush and then just brush this on like I was painting. All right, let's see. It at first glance, it looks like it's just sitting there. Like, honestly, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. And I'm trying to stay just to this left side so that we've got, something control over there. All right. Yeah, see, it just looks like powder sitting on top of a piece of paper. I'm afraid if I go like this, that it's all just going to come off. I don't know. I don't know about you. Do y'all see a difference? Maybe a little bit sitting there. I don't know if this is working, fellas. Lightly drag it across. All right, we're going to try that too. All right, so we're going to fill up the brush here. And we're going to go across the ridges, right? Not down with the ridges, right? Okay, so lightly drag across. Or am I supposed to go this way with the brush? See, it looks like it's just pooling, just sitting there on the end. Because I know if I go like this, it's just going to fall off. I mean, I guess that kind of looks okay. That's not bad. All right, let's do it again. We're just going to keep doing it. Light as possible. I'm going to go across the whole thing. So the point of this is to push the chalk into the grooves. Is that right? Smash it into the board. See, the problem is I could do this with one color, like the black, but then if I go to the next color, then that color is just going to get brushed around. So I feel this would work if I sealed it in on like every different color, but I really didn't want to do that. So this is looking like just a bunch of brush strokes. Maybe it's just me, but that kind of looks almost the same as what I had when I did the black myself, just using the chalk. I don't like pastels for this reason. Yeah, I would do a wash. See, my problem is I'm not very good with doing washes and then colors on top. They all seem to blend together, and I'm also an impatient person, and having to wait for the wash to dry in order to get the next color to sit right, that bothers me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go back. You know what? I'm gonna try one of these lighter colors just to see if there's a difference. Let's try this one. Maybe it's just the black. I mean, honestly, don't get me wrong. You can see the color. It's there. If it focuses, you'll see it. But I don't. It's not giving me the effect that I had with the first one. Maybe it's just me. Maybe a short brush and rub the pastel in. I don't know if I have. The only I've got this brush. Would this do? Let's try this. Let's go back to the black. Do some of this yellow. I mean, you definitely see the yellow on there, but I feel like the yellow is just rubbing off the black. I don't know, guys. Mine's got a little bit more of effect than the other way. I might have been pushing a little hard on there. But I'm going to stick with my way for a little bit. Let's do some brown. A little bit of a lighter brown. Here's that orange rusted color. Probably. I don't think it's got any. Yeah, it probably has no bite whatsoever. So that might be the issue. I mean, then again, when I did this side over here, I mean, you see all the color. Let me do this. We're gonna run a little late here. Sorry, Dan. I know Dan's over there on his channel going live, and I hate to take up someone else's time. Before I forget, I'm going to drop a link to Dan's channel over in the chat. Guys, don't forget to stop and see Dan and check out what he's doing live over on his channel. Do some of this light stuff. Hey, look, I'm no Bob Ross. I can tell you that. And I warned you guys from the beginning, this was a new one for me. What I might do is seal this off with a clear mat, and then maybe I'll come back afterwards. I mean, I've got plenty of roof to play with. All of this is going to be blank and extra. So I got plenty that I could test with. So if I'm not happy with this here, then I can always do more. I mean, I like the dirt. I like the grime. What I don't like is the rusty part. I wish it was just a little more rusty, and I'm not sure how to achieve that, at least not with the pastels. I mean, that's not bad. There's a few spots that I would that are more prominent than others, but that's not bad. I think I'm actually happy with that. I think I'm gonna stop there, because if I do any more, just make sure I get some on the edges. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there. That's probably the best I'm going to get it. So let me put this aside. I am going to where's my knife? Chop this off. That was for this. I'm just making 4 panels here for this upper roof. As best as I can, as close as I can. There you go. 4 panels. They're not even, but I don't care. Artie, you're usually in the USA. Are you here now? Aussie, what's up, my Aussie? Oi, oi, oi. All right. Let's get these glued on. Where's my glue? Constantly losing my glue. I don't need these right now. And I'm actually going to mix and match these 2 sides just in case the colors seem to be, you know, in the pattern that I colored them with. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys the story of my phone and why I was afraid to use it. Last night I had my oldest daughter, Mackenzie. She's in the choir at her school, and she had her spring rehearsal last night. And in the middle of what I would do is I would take my phone, I would record it. I would record her singing up on stage with her choir, and then when they were done singing, another grade group came up. So I would give my phone to my youngest Bella so that she could play games, and I would keep her quiet. And then I would take the phone back. Well, in the midst of her playing games and me using it to record, the phone got so hot that I actually got a message that said on the phone, "Your phone's too hot and it needs to cool off before you can continue using it." So my fear tonight was that I was using the cell phone as the camera and I thought it was going to cut out on me. But I guess because I wasn't recording or doing a lot of graphics, it held out. I mean, it is 10 past 9. All right, so I got a little trim work to do on the ends here and on the side pieces. But this piece is going to be the top part. And because it's long, I can't put it all the way on. But that's going to be the top part up there. And I'll get that fixed up and I'll get that going. I still have to put 2 more pieces on here so that this can fit down here on there, but that's going to look like that. and I got to find something to cover that that gap there with. I thought that I had that overlapping, but I guess not. I'll just put a piece of trim or something there to get that done. But I actually like that overhang. I might not cut that off. I'll have to see. I don't know. Kind of looks cool. Maybe I'll just cut it in jagged pieces as if it was like broken apart. Maybe I could do that. That sounds like an idea, but I'll get that done. So we only got to the roofs tonight, which wasn't too bad. Let's jump back over here to the main cam for a moment. So not bad, not bad. Got a lot of training done. I did something new, something that I didn't do before, other than, the one part that I did the other day. So that wasn't bad. And you guys all stuck with me, so I can't complain with that either. And I very much appreciate it. The building is coming together. It looks like we are going to have at least one more show on this one that we'll have on the 29th, I think it is. That's what I said at the beginning. So the 29th, we'll do the dock and see if we could do some signs and stuff between now and then. So between now and that show, I'll get the roofs all put on and glued on and get that all done, and I'll show you guys that in a short little video. But again, thank you guys so much for hanging in with me. Thank you for all your suggestions on how to do this. I think we both learned something tonight on a good way and a bad way. Maybe with all this extra roofing material or stuff, maybe the next time we'll just try it and do washes and paints and things, because I'm interested to see what works. I like what I did, but if there's a better way that looks the way it is, then I'm willing to try it if it helps someone else out. So we can always do that. I'm going to go ahead and roll the outro here, guys. Again, thank you so much for hanging in. Don't forget to jump over to Dan's channel and check Dan out. He's probably live now. And this weekend, again, is going to be, nope, wrong one. This one here, switch. Now you don't want to switch the schedule. Hold on. Back to main cam. Go to the schedule. There we go. I don't know why that didn't want to switch. Bob's going to be up on Sunday. So make sure you pay attention to Bob. I'll shoot all the STS guys links in the chat. Also, they're also in the description of this video. So make sure you go to all their channels and subscribe. You guys all know them, but for any newcomers, they're all there. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I will catch you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Roll the outro. Guys, I got a video right over there. Click on the link for that. Just below that is going to be a link for one of my playlists. And then right below me is the subscribe button and like button. Thumbs up. Thank you guys so much.